Okay, let's talk about the Tesla truck bomber and his claims about the mystery drones. Are they Chinese technology? Are they NHI? Well, let's talk about it. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, as Roth Coldheart says here, summing up, so the Green Beret who allegedly bombed the Trump Las Vegas hotel sent a manifesto to Sean Ryan, including an assertion in the email that he held an active top secret SCI clearance with USAP access. He also makes allegations that the drones operating over U.S. sensitive facilities are Chinese advanced gravitic drones. The plot thickens. Now, I haven't seen it confirmed anywhere that he did have SAP access, but he does seem to be who he says he was otherwise, and the email seems to be legitimate as the authorities have made note of. Let me go to that. Here's the authorities saying they believe the manifesto to be legitimately created by the bomber.
Spencer.
Yeah, so in terms of the so-called manifesto that's circulating online, we have strong evidence to suggest that it was the subject that wrote it, but we haven't conclusively proven that yet.
Okay, there you go. They believe it probably was written by him, but we don't know that for sure. By the way, I have to go into this funny exchange between Ross in the disinfo bots, potentially. He said there's a comment by Astroplane Blaine. Very funny to see people take the rankings of a crazy person. I think that's rantings. The rankings of a crazy person as legit, just because it confirms a particular bias. This is a new low for the UFO community. Ross fires back saying, the usual freshly minted intelligence community tweet bot. Your account was created September 24th, launches a deranged attack on inconvenient journalistic inquiry and investigation. Of course, it's media significant person who bombed a hotel. Of course, it's media significant that a person who bombed a hotel made these wild allegations, you deceitful dolt. And it goes on, but I love Ross firing back at accounts that he believes are illegitimate. Yeah, of course, this is, legitimate inquiry, right? This is important to know. If this gentleman, this bomber, I don't know if gentleman is the correct word to use here, but if this guy did have access to these SAPs, did he have inside knowledge that these were Chinese drones? We need confirmation, first of all, that he was part of these SAPs. And, it would be great if we had someone else, as unlikely as that would be, come out saying, yeah, I was on the special access program with him, and that is the information that we were receiving. Of course, even if they were receiving that information, that does not make it legitimate. Bob Lazardi, as an example, was giving a lot of briefing material prior to going in to work on the UFO. He didn't believe that briefing material was all accurate. There was some BS thrown in there, he believed. And that seems to be the case. In the control group, they give briefings, they get access to stuff, and that information is not always necessarily on the level. So even if, the bomber had this information, it does not make it legit. But it would be very important, I think, to learn if he did, in fact, have access to this information. So could it be Chinese? Is it Chinese? Is it NHI or is it Chinese? Well, let's listen to what Representative William Timmons of the U.S. Congress is talking about in regards to this technology.
How frustrating is it?
So it's actually, this is the thing. I do think that the government is trying to assess whether it's China or non-human. I think that's really the underlying question. Because if it's China, it's bad because they have technology that we don't understand, and they have advancements that we don't have, which is not good. If it's non-human, then we don't know why they're here. So both of those deserve additional resources to figure out the answer to.
And that's right. the way you're framing it is kind of simple, not simplistic, but simple. Do you think that's an easy case to make to the incoming Trump administration? Like, hey,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take. It doesn't take. This is not an Elon Musk task. This
Yeah.
is a task that can be assigned to a lot of people. But this is the thing: the patterns in sightings can easily be predicted, and I actually think that there's a correlation between military training, military activities in the U.S. and these sightings. So it would not be difficult to figure out if it's China, because if it is indeed China, they're using their technology to assess our military capacity, and we can create the systems through which they would then respond, and we'll be like, okay, it's China.
yeah,
Or maybe they don't take the bait, and
yeah.
it's not China, or it might not be China.
Have you entertained the idea of military contractors? Do you feel like that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a variable, because we spend a lot of money to allow the private sector to
Yeah.
develop technologies because we don't have the expertise.
Yeah.
So absolutely. But again, this is some next level. I
Yeah.
mean, this isn't like 10 years ahead of where we are. This is like 50 or 100 years ahead of where we are. And, we've all seen, 6 years ago, I remember seeing what the world then saw in 60 Minutes, like a year or two later.
Yeah.
And, look, I got my private pilot's license. I understand physics.
Yeah.
I understand propulsion. I'm not Elon Musk again, but
Yeah.
I have a pretty good grasp of that.
Yeah.
We have nothing that can do what I've seen.
Yeah.
We have nothing that can do what I've seen. According to what he's seen, he believes this technology is 50, 100 years in advance of where we are right now. Of course, that's probably very optimistic if they're using exotic technology that can make craft vanish and so on. So does China have that? Do they have exotic technology that is that far advanced of where we are? Well, I was in China 20 years ago. It would not have been possible then. They were all riding bicycles. But they've come a long way, and, we can debate where they acquired some of that technology. But I'm not going to stir that up at the moment. But yeah, they have come a long way. They are very advanced. But if they had this advanced exotic technology that we cannot do anything about, and send it en masse over the United States and other countries for months, why would Taiwan not be in their hands right now? They could take over the world if they wanted to. And yeah, this stuff is all over the world. It's in Denmark. Does it make any sense for China to send it over Denmark? Here's a drone over Denmark, a mystery drone over Denmark on January 4th. And they're not just in Denmark, they're in China.
Starting from the night of September 11th, there were unidentified flying objects spotted in Tianjin for 3 consecutive nights. These incidents affected flight operations at Tianjin International Airport, impacting thousands of passengers. According to China's official statement, these were drone intrusions. However, many people doubt this explanation, questioning if these objects were UFOs, as drones usually cannot fly for 10 hours. The incident on the night of September 11th at Tianjin Binhai Airport has been dubbed the Tianjin 9/11 incident.
Yeah, I'll let you watch the full video at your leisure. It's 13 minutes long, but yeah, they got mystery drones in China. So, yeah, interfering with their operations, right? So probably not China, probably not gravitic technology. I've never seen any evidence that gravitic technology has been operational in that sense. It works. It is a technology that can make things levitate, but not in a functional sense like the drones. You're not going to use them in war. You're not going to be able to do anything with that technology that I've ever seen. Now, they quickly closed the curtain on what we know of that technology, and they've probably pursued avenues of research with gravitic technology that we don't know anything about. So, it's totally possible in the decades since they've been working on this stuff with, Townsend Brown and all of that kind of stuff, that, yeah, maybe they have gotten some functional technology, but I've never seen any evidence of that. But this is leaps and bounds beyond that. This is not showing up on thermal. This is potentially vanishing. We have one case where the police officers were investigating a downed drone in a tree, and although they had eyes on it, it vanished before their eyes. They had no clue where that thing went. That is not mundane technology. They're not, again, not showing up on thermal, potentially shape-changing objects. I would love more corroboration on that, but this is a global phenomenon. They got them in Australia, they got them in Denmark, they got them in Italy, they've got them in China. So unlikely to be a human, adversarial nation doing this. Again, over an extended period of time, none of these objects have been downed and recovered and studied. How likely is it that that's human? This seems very advanced. So whoever is doing this is not worried about this technology falling into our hands, right? They are very confident and comfortable with this technology. They're not worried about it being studied, not worried about it being reverse engineered. Probably not the case if it were a foreign adversary. I think the Tesla bomber was likely a disturbed individual. I mean, obviously he was. But could he have been a whistleblower that was targeted by the government? That's a theory that some people have, and there's definitely some evidence to back up that claim. So just to make this more complicated, let's give a listen to what the Homeland Security Committee was talking about in May 8th, 2024.
Guys, if your assessments here are correct, these are very covert weapons, aren't they?
That's correct. There's no entry or exit wound. How they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things.
And you guys also said that these attacks are happening right here in this city. Is that correct?
I mean, there have been some that have gone public with respect to Washington, D.C.
I think it was Mr. Grozev said you spoke to a Russian agent who said that they believe that Americans are using these same weapons on them. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Might that have something to do with part of the CIA's motive to cover up the existence of this tech and these weapons?
That is a very logical possibility.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, so you never know, guys. Now, there is a lot of debate going on right now about Sean Ryan and the guest that he had on with that information. And I'm not going to go into all of that, as is kind of toxic, and who knows. But there is interesting possible evidence that some people are coming out with that maybe that email, that manifesto was faked. And, we need, more conclusive evidence on all of that stuff. But we're still in the fog of war on all of this, I guess is my point. And we just don't know. And if there were some shenanigans going on, potentially with the government, we may never know. We may never get clear answers on what exactly happened with the Tesla bomber and what happened at the Tesla Tower in Las Vegas on that day. But will we ever get answers on what the mystery drones are? I think that we probably will. I don't think this is just going to fade out with no conclusion, because there was a point to this. Somebody was doing this to achieve a goal. And like Steve Bassett and others have said, if this is the NHI doing this, they are doing this to drive disclosure, to drive home a point to the powers that be in the government, to say, hey, pony up with the information. The people need to know this, and we're just going to keep on pressuring you until you deliver. So if we see some governmental action toward that, then that would be the goal, I guess, right? We'll be able to see an end, achieved by this means. So yeah, that could totally happen, or we could see some other action to come out. If China takes over Taiwan and the U.S. doesn't put up a fight about it, then you could say, yeah, maybe that was the point, and it was Chinese tech all along. But again, this is exotic technology. It's unlikely that China has achieved this and that we haven't. achieved anything to that level. We've had programs low these many years. We have, we being the U.S., has very high tech. We've got our own UFOs. So, why are they able to do stuff that we can't do and that we can't do anything about? Or is it the control group letting them run around our facilities and going across our airspace with impunity because they don't want to reveal that they do have this tech? Is it some sort of something like that? Maybe somebody's playing chicken. We just don't know, guys. I mean, we can speculate all day. I would love some answers on this, but we don't know, and we don't even know what we don't know at this point. But we are definitely in the fog of war on this. It's very interesting. There's definitely some important questions here, and I would love some important answers on all of this. Maybe you guys have the answers, so let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, thumbs up, like and subscribe, smash the bell to be notified of future videos, visit the merch store, buy a t-shirt, become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.